Another wonderful time to be back on your screen. It's still the breakfast show here on TSL Nigeria, and on today's edition of Hot Stuff Wednesday, we will be dissecting the very roots of the recent hike in social vices amongst our youth. My name is Joy Matthew. Stay glued to your screen. Right after this break, you get to meet my co-host. Welcome back. Now, let's take a look at government, social vices, and parenting. What would you make of it? I'm joined by my co-host, the beautiful Udo, Osasoge Aibe, and Favor Ovielova. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
You guys are looking dashing hot.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's get right to the heart of the matter. With the recent issue of a successful murder of a young teenage girl, Sophia, and then the attempted ritual by 3 young boys, the youngest being 17. What do you make of the whole situation? How does it make you think and feel?
Okay, let me go first. I'll say for me, when I saw that news, it was very disturbing with the way things are going in Nigeria amongst our youth and our teenagers, because I remember when I was a teenager, the only thing I wanted at that age was to get into the university and study mass communication. Oh, wow. I was never thinking of having money. I was still, collecting money from my parents. So to have these young ones now, all they have in their mind is just instant wealth and fame, it's really disturbing. And I hope that very soon we'll be able to have a way out of this whole issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I totally agree with Favor. As a teenager, I don't know what's my issue with money.
At 17,
what's my business with money? If you give me money, 2 seconds, I'm going to buy sweet mouth. That's the only thing I know to use money for. So I have no business thinking about wanting to have millions. What would I use the millions to do? It was about going to school, coming out of school with flying colors, and carving a career path for myself. So I don't know where this orientation started from, but it's really disturbing, like she said, and we hope we get out of this soonest.
I think teenagers now, they are just trying to adapt to how the society is now. Because people are being pressured now. What we have now is get rich quick syndrome. Everybody is trying to catch up with their mates that are making it. So I feel like things will not be like before again, because everybody's trying to adapt to how the society is making things feel like. If you don't have something now, follow, you are left out. Yeah. So I don't know.
When this issue came on board, a lot of persons went on to think back, at 17, what exactly was I doing? You just said at 17, all you're really concerned about was, let me just get to school and know what next. Let me just enter school first, you understand? So now let me ask, what would you say is the cause for this recent upsurge in social vices? Everybody, this syndrome that you just get rich quick syndrome, what's the cause for this upsurge?
Peer pressure and mindset. Everybody has, yes, I know some people will say parenting, but at this stage in my life now, my parents, they are only guiding me. They are not deciding on what I'll do.
You're no longer 17.
Exactly, I'm no longer 17.
You cannot say, okay, just go on.
So they will tell me, don't do this. Then I will sit down and think. I say, I must do it. So it's my mindset. And then peer pressure, people around you, where you find yourself. You said, birds of a feather flock together. So wherever you find yourself, wherever environment you find yourself, you tend to act like it. So that's what I believe.
Yeah.
Okay,
but I subscribe to that, but I think there has always been peer pressure. So for us then, talking about wanting to go to school, that was your thought when you were 17. That was the peer pressure back then. Because all your mates were going to school.
Everybody wanted to go to school.
That was the in
there
thing.
has always been peer pressure. So I don't know what's causing this recent one, but I would say poverty has a very big role to play in this recent matter. Because even back in our father's era, they were doing ritual then. But you will not know because it was an inner carcass thing.
Low-key.
It was low-key. Your father might even be a strong ritualist. You will not know.
Fathers, not children.
Yes,
fathers.
You will not know because then it was their age grade that was doing it. But now it's children that are doing
children.
it. That's why I said peer pressure has always been
there. So it's not really
it's not really like, it's not a new thing.
So it's more of poverty. Things have changed.
Yes, things have changed. The economy is getting even crappier by the day. You know, when we talked about having the poorest of the poor, you know, recent research has it that about 60% Nigerians are living in extreme poverty. Not poverty, extreme. So if 60% are living in extreme poverty, these are people that probably barely have 1 meal per day. And these are children that have seen their parents struggle, live life the good way, quote unquote, the moral way, the ethical way, the standard way, the religious way, and they've seen their parents even fail doing the right thing. They'll be like, me, I'm not towing that line.
Okay, so you'd say poverty is the cause. Miss Favor.
For me, I'll say, you know, let me talk about that peer pressure, because you just mentioned something that you know, just brought back, you know, memories. I remember that back then, you know, some of my friends, they got into the university before me, and I can remember crying because my parents then, you know, told me, you know, they don't have money for university at this time, you have to wait a bit, you know. I remember crying, and at some point I was just like, I want to take my life and all of that, because other people were doing this thing and I wasn't doing, so that was the pressure at that time. Now, coming back to this question, I would say I will attribute it to a little bit to every of the sectors. Now, I would say for bad parenting, bad governance, peer pressure, social media, and Nollywood movies. Because you see these movies, they do rituals and they'll make it look so good, so clean, and even the person lives long, and when they are old, you know, they get to die and all of that, you know, and that's when they start reaping the evil fruit from, you know, the rituals. What about if they do something like, as soon as you intend to, you know, go into rituals, you get caught and, you know, it backfires. Then they will learn that, okay, no, this thing is not good.
I think Nollywood tries to replicate something like that.
Yeah,
they tell you that
it's too late.
While you do this, while you want to get rich, you're also going to lose something really important. Probably you see those men doing what they have to do, and later you get to find out that they're never going to have children and all of those sorts. So people are, I think, in their own way, they try to show you that actions have consequences.
But some people are willing to damn the consequences, so they should do more. Because you need money, your mother has to die. My mother
I also say our celebrity lifestyles, because you see them all over social media, and one person, you know, does one skit or acts in just play 2 roles, waka past movie, and you just see the person that has a mansion, has cars to flaunt, and there are other persons that are doing legit business, and you keep wondering, what's happening to me? Am I not a child of God? Why is God blessing this person and leaving me out? So I think I attribute to every of these that I've mentioned. I also want to say that, you know, speaking of the Nollywood movies, there was a time one of these guys was caught, and he said he learned courtism through the Nollywood movies when he saw Zubi Michael, that, you know, the way he plays the part, and he was interested too. So I think they should also change the narrative on how they play, you know, their movies, their roles, you know, to target. Now that this thing is out there, to target the teenagers and youth and let them understand that, you know, it is wrong. Not all that you see is not all that it is. They should show, you know, their struggling side. They are on set, you know, for like a month or 2 months, you know, with. And you just get to watch the movie in 1 hour 30 minutes. I think that's what it is. They should do better.
But talking about Nollywood, that's not the only thing they show now. They don't only focus on ritual killings. There are other things that they show. So I feel like, you know, recently some actors even came up to say, it's unfair for people to say that they are emulating this character because of ritual killings in movies. There are other things they also show movies about people that come up, that are struggling, and later make it in life through some way. Exactly. So what are people not? Nobody's emulating that one, but they are. So I feel like people are not being fair. There are other things that Nollywood have to show than the ritual killings. And
everybody's picking selective reason. Okay, now, Favor, you said something about how this issue, you would put it on different sectors. Now, I'm really interested to say, if we have to tackle this, let's start off from the root, right? Where would you say we should start off first from? Recently, our president made a declaration. Quite interesting. Well done, sir. So he told us how, I don't even know how to go about this. You know, let me start off with this. Earlier when the National Youth Service Corps was introduced, persons were so interested to actually go and serve their country, because afterwards you get an accommodation. First class is not first night first year accommodation. You get first class accommodation, mobilization, and all of that. Things have changed, and the president coming up to say that now, if you are going to school and you are hoping that at the end of your 4-5 years, I have a job for you, Loriro. I don't know if I don't know what you think of that. What would you make of the president making such a proclamation, telling youth that are now still tolling? I don't know if I should say the good part, because now we don't even know which is the good part anymore, because everybody is just in a confused state. Youths that have said, okay, I'm going to do the school thing, I'm going to go through, I'm going to better myself with this route. What do you make of that proclamation by the president?
I think that statement made by the president, just triggered, aside from, from, I don't know, the bad side of hustling in our youth, because they now feel, oh, the president can tell us that, education is not an automatic ticket, to get a job, then what's the need? So school na scam and all of that. So, but then they forget that even why you don't actually get the job or the government job, you can use that education elsewhere to better yourself, to better your life, and even become someone that employs people. So that statement was really wrong, which will also lead us to, bad governance. People now see it like, okay, if the president can make these statements and in power, they are embezzling our funds and all of that. So why do I even need to actually go to school? Let me just, look for a quicker way to make cash and maybe get into politics, get into government as well, and embezzle my own funds, and that's it. So
okay,
it's really bad.
So personally, talking about which of the sectors that I would want to look at and say that this is where we should focus on and like put more pressure. We have bad governance, like you just said. The government has not encouraged youth. With that statement, it's not encouraging for persons to stick to the right path. And then we have the issue of parenting too.
Right.
So this is not the only, the issue of Sophia being murdered and even 17-year-old burning up her head. It's the gruesomeness of that whole situation for me. Burning, I don't know, when you burn the head, is it that money is going to start coming? I don't know how it actually works. And then we've had other scenarios. Recently, we heard of 3 young boys migrating from Delta State to Edo State and being interviewed. The youngest was about 14. He's going to be 14 this year. Said they came, or they are on their journey to learn Yahoo. Now I'm wondering, this person's had parents, these children had parents, because that's what they actually have, 14, 15, 16. They are not exactly young adults per se, they have parents. They are not directly under the government. Now we know that the government is not giving us an enabling environment per se. Would you say that parents on their own end are some way, we've heard things, are some way encouraging internet fraud stuff, because that's where it actually starts from. Parenting styles are some way encouraging people to go into these various vices. Sogi.
Of course, we cannot rule out that fact. I even have like an example. Of course, I'm not going to be naming names, but I know of someone whose mother actually prays for him that your mother will pay. Basically,
that's the prayer point.
That's the prayer point. Wow. Your mother will pay. So let's not that we're giving credibility to these people, or we're making them feel like what they're doing is actually correct, or we're supporting them whatsoever. Remember, let me take you back to my comments earlier that there are some people who can barely afford a meal per day. These people have gone from not having hope to not having hope.
Not even dreaming. They say dream is free, but they cannot even dream of it.
Do you get? So in such a situation, of course, Mama has this child that can manage to do something by magic to give him money so that they can at least feed. Mama will pray for him. What do you expect? So I'm not saying that parents should keep encouraging their children. Of course, we have roles to play as parents, but there are still parents that try to teach their children the good thing, the right way to follow, and these children will still leave the house with all the morals that they have been impacted in. Society still makes them, brings out the worst in them, basically. Okay. Do you get? So I mentioned earlier that there are some people that have watched their parents for years, all their life. Their father has been working hard, back to back. He doesn't go late to work. He doesn't, even if he's sick, he'll still show up at work.
Okay.
And it's
and
not like,
they have nothing to show for it.
Show for. And the same father is telling you, my son, it is profitable to Baba, you're cooking on your own.
At this point, I would want to say our definition of wealth differs. Now, we've had the issue of government not providing a sustainable ground to grow, right? And then the issue of parenting. Let me place you in that very pivotal spot now. Which do you think is... let me tell you my own stance first of all. Parenting style is like the largest contributor to these social vices. I know Soge would disagree because, like she just said, if you have seen your parents, even when you want to be a good person, seeing your parents live out that definition of good person and still not to your it's still not to your taste, it's still not to your satisfaction, you'll be tempted to go the other way. Which do you think is most important, or which do you think is more contributing to these old social vices that we see? Now, it's not just internet fraudsters that we have, because now it does not just end with Yahoo. Those 3 boys, they said they came to learn Yahoo. They said not Yahoo Plus. So if you do not know, Yahoo Plus is now the one that now has killings and ritual and all of that, like the ones in Ogun State. That was, I don't know if they said it's Yahoo Plus, but that was ritual. I think it's the right time that we even get to differentiate. You are doing ritual, you are doing fraud. It's not Yahoo. Yahoo used to be a male. You say you are doing Yahoo, you are scamming people. You are a scammer. It's not. If you are killing people for money, you are a ritualist. So simple definition. Now, which would you say it's more of a parenting dysfunction or the society? Let me remind you that charity begins at home.
I know charity begins at home, but then I don't know. Is there a way to say this is the perfect parenting style? I don't think parenting has a fix like this is the positive way. But I think unconsciously parents, like, they are part of it. Because you can say as a mother now, you say, Chijoke, see you, this one has bought a car, what are you still doing? So I feel unconsciously parents have a role to play in this. Some words that you tell to your children, some things that you tell to them, make them to go back and think and say, why don't I have this thing at this point? So yeah, parenting has a very, very crucial role to play in social vices.
Okay, Favor, what's your thoughts on that? Parenting or society?
Yeah, before I give my thought on that, let me quickly remind you that we're live on Facebook, and for everyone that has dropped a comment, to say thank you for dropping a comment for us. So let me quickly take these comments. I have this one from Mamodu James. He said, the president coming out to make such a statement will be a ground for more vices in the nation. Now, we've talked about that. This one is coming from Peace Giwa. She said, our youth no longer want to work. Why? That's the question that we're asking. So back to, thank you, and keep dropping your comments on this issue. Now, back to the question. Bad parenting, let me talk about that, because it's annoying. I saw a post where someone said they have like an association for parents of Yahoo boys, you know, in the West. Yeah. I think they are called Association of Young Hustlers.
Yes. So the parents now have an association.
Yeah. So if a parent can sit and watch their child, you know, and they even come together from association and they are, you know,
and pray for their children to
pray
scam
for
successfully.
them. I don't know where this whole thing is going to, but I just, like I said earlier, I hope we can actually find a way out of it, because one would wonder, or one would think that by now the Senate must have met and just say, okay, now this should be the penalty, because it's getting out of hand. Before you know, we'll have fewer ladies and, you know, more guys. But they're using ladies now.
More guys.
I'm going to ask, men's head was going to
I don't understand. Well, they're using about young girls and leaving the guys out. So if they finish using our girls, who will they get married to? Who will they spend the money with? Who will they pop champagne and, you know, flex the money with? So I just hope that, you know, everyone sits up, you know, rather, to make sure that we find a way out of this whole situation. So bad parenting, let's start from there.
She said something that actually struck me. She said by now she thinks that the Senate would have sat down to look for penalty. Okay, so let's come back to governance, right? So let's take some Western developed words, for example. You commit a crime, you pay for it. Nobody's excused. Do you know why they can do that? Because there's a system that works. So there's an avenue for everybody to be wealthy as much as they want to be. The system is not designed to deliberately frustrate your efforts. So there's somebody that graduates, you want to follow a professional line. There's a system that helps you get that. You want to be an entrepreneur, there's a system that helps you get that. You want to be whatever it is you want to be. They will start teaching them from schools very early that you can be whatever you want to be.
Okay.
So now they tell us children are the leaders of tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm almost, I'm still starving. I'm still waiting to be a leader.
You can start from where you are. And I think that's where parenting actually comes in. Parenting tells you that you should not be so concerned about what the society is.
Yes, your parents are giving you this logic that is so sweet and you want to follow it, and then you go out there and then you see that it's not working exactly
out.
What they taught you.
It's not working out.
So I think, okay, in light of that, parents should incorporate.
We keep saying that.
Like, who is supposed to prepare you? Your parents. So I think they should incorporate the fact that it's never rosy. They probably give you the idea that it's don't worry, just do this, and you become this. Like,
okay,
it
so
is going to be tough.
Back to my point. Back to Nigeria. We keep wanting the government to melt out punishment for offenders of the law. What has the government provided for people to ensure that, okay, before you punish me for stealing, you have made sure that there was enough food? Do you get my point? So there's somebody that steals a cube of a seasoning cube in the market, and the next thing is, let's take this person to court. Hello.
The government that was able to hoard our palliatives.
Even COVID-19 palliatives, and there was nothing, we could not do anything about it. So if there are institutions put in place that are actually working to make sure that, okay, you just finish your youth service, before you get a concrete job, this is what the government is good. They pay other citizens of other nations of the world money for just being citizens. Okay. What have you gotten for being a citizen of Nigeria?
And I think parents now should also focus on training their male children, because
you
know, they had so much time training females.
Yes. Regardless, we should remember that family, the society that we're talking about, government that we're talking about, the family is like the smallest unit. So if we do not start this change, we do not start incorporating these little things from the family, it's going to be a huge problem at large. Okay, now let's quickly, we've talked about problems enough. Let's go focus on how we can help curb this menace. You're listening, you think that there's a way that you could actually, if government tries this, drop that thought right there on the comment section. Now, Favor, let me start off with you. What are one of the ways, or because there are numerous ways, just that it's easy to talk about them when you're not in the problem. But now we are in it. What are one of the ways that you think government, parents can actually, together as a society, we can actually help ourselves from this menace?
For me, I'll say, as the elders of the society, when we see younger ones, you know, that are living a flamboyant lifestyle, we should question their source of wealth. I saw a post where someone said, you know, a teenager, you know, brought one of these big cars to a restaurant and asked to pay for, you know, the fees and everything, and they had to seize the car keys and say, well, how did you get this car? Where did you get this money? How do you want to pay for everybody? Go get your parents. So I think that we should start from there. This I don't care, this mind your business, it not concern you. We should just stop it.
It concern you.
Because if it not concern you now, it will concern you later. By the time they use your
daughter or your sister.
So when you see these young ones living flamboyant lifestyle, don't encourage them. Question them. Where did you get this money from? Why are you not in school? Why at this stage you are holding this car?
Children why they are not in school
anymore. We're just sitting and minding our business. So no more mind your business.
Okay, that's the nice one. What's your thought? What ways? Just one
way. Okay, recently Unlimited LA, you know, the music director, he posted something on his Instagram, was like, youth of nowadays need to know that people are making money in legal ways. So I feel they need to know that there are other ways that you can make money. It must not be Yahoo, because everybody now, they say you are doing Yahoo, everybody wants to embrace it, that, this guy has quick money. So youth of now, they need to know that there are legal ways, there are other ways to make money fast.
Okay, so gay.
Okay, so I'll say two things. Government, please help our hustle. Help us. And then religious leaders. So sometimes you go to churches and you hear pastors say, empty your account and come and give it to the Lord. Give it to the Lord. The way they say it, the enthusiasm, you know. And when I was growing up, I know that there are some days that you'll be so down and you go to church and you meet your pastor, there'll be food. But now, it's no longer that way. We're now the ones
giving.
So yes, please, everybody, all hands on deck. Government, parents, religious leaders, we have roles to play.
Yeah. Well, for me, I would say that thought that we usually clamor about, school has come. If you really think about it, go back to school. First of all, when you get back to school, you realize that there are other ways that you could actually, like said, there are other ways that you could actually make money. Like it is so, like, should I say, so big that you think of it that and I was going to kill somebody when I could be making cool cash from this. Go back to school. School no be scam.
No be scam.
On this fantastic note, we are wrapping up today's episode of Hot Stuff Wednesday. It was hot indeed. Thank you for joining us today. A candid word of advice from all of us at TSL Nigeria TV. Youths, please shun social vices, and parents, please try to raise your children in the right way. All right, until we come your way next time, do ensure to follow us across our social media platforms at TSL Nigeria TV on Instagram, Facebook, and of course Twitter. My name is Osasogi Abiyayi. Have a lovely rest of the day.
Bye.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.